Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another Steam Deck Untested video, part 3. We're going to kick off with Viking, Battle for Angmar, or whatever it's called. Basically, this doesn't work. Game created by Creative Assembly, asked me to go and do the configuration tool, which then doesn't let me do anything. I tried different Proton versions. I had a look on Proton DB, seems to be a known issue. I think it's only silver on there. Obviously some people have managed to get it working on other distros and that sort of thing, but yeah, unfortunately that was not one for us, and yeah, there you go. It's just that's what happens, unfortunately, with these sort of things. Don't know what the fix is. There didn't seem to be any common thread on Proton DB, but we do have another game by Creative Assembly coming up, much different to the Viking game, so I think you can tell which genre worked out best for them in the end.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
And yeah, it works perfectly fine. So I was able to run everything on, basically on a high preset, but with the unlimited video memory turned on as well. So I think if I was probably playing it, I'd probably run it at medium instead, just to, you know, make sure that you're getting the right performance. But we got an average FPS in the sort of 40s or whatever. I've left the full benchmark in so that we can have a look at that, but it's relatively remarkable. A few dips here and there from what I remember, but nothing showstoppery. I don't know whether too many people would necessarily be playing the first Warhammer, but if you did want to, it does work perfectly fine. I got myself into a custom battle and just charged a load of Griffin Knights into a load of elves, and that seemed to work fine as well, so it wasn't too bad really in terms of performance, and I got roughly the same performance on high as the benchmark shows. It's actually a pretty decent benchmark in terms of showing you what type of performance you can gain. I'm always sort of like pretty happy to recommend Total War games in general, just because you know, battles and what have you can vary so much depending on what environment you're playing in, how many troops you've got, all the rest of it. So it's never cut and dry, it's never straightforward. You obviously got the campaign map, which is totally different as well, but not really frame rate dependent as long as you can move around the map easy enough. And then it just depends on how close you want to zoom in and how much detail you want to see. But yeah, I mean, this seems to run pretty well. I'm fairly certain that it's using the native Linux version, so didn't try out anything, I just hit play and we're all good, all working, which is always the first thing I try, unless there's like, you know, something wrong with performance or whatever, but I would deem this to be, well, maybe even slightly better than I expected, you know, 42.8 FPS on average. I'm pretty happy with that on high, so yeah, you know, you do certainly get more than that on medium, and medium probably be the way I would expect to play a lot of stuff on the Steam Deck. Anyway, as we've seen from before. So we're going to move on now to Super Arcade Football. I didn't even know I had this on my Steam Deck. Yeah, it's another one. It just doesn't work. No rhyme or reason for it. Some people had said that they had it working on Proton version 3, or whatever the version, the earliest one on the Steam Deck is, which I did try. Once again, all the same issues of just a black screen and then nothing else. So yeah, just one of them. Just doesn't work on the Steam Deck at the moment, unfortunately, and that's it. So next I tried Blood Bowl, which Legendary Edition, which does actually have some workarounds on Proton DB for ways to get it working. Unfortunately, I could not. I was stuck with the issue with black screen, effectively, which a lot of people did report, and they also suggested that you could just click through the black screen and sort of get through into the main menu. Now that didn't work for me. Other people said you can hit enter on the keyboard and that'll do it as well. But yeah, none of those fixes did anything. In fact, if I clicked too much, it would boot me back to the Steam main screen. It looks like, though, that Proton Glorious Egg Roll is required, something to do with probably the video codecs or whatever that particular issue is. But yeah, once you get past that, it still doesn't work properly. So unfortunately, this one is down as not, in my book, not functioning on the Steam Deck. even though, like I say, there have been reports of people having better luck on Linux distributions. But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing more I can try. Had mouse and keyboard plugged in. Tried various editions of Glorious Eggroll, Proton Experimental. I've started trying a few older Protons now, especially, you know, when I'm having issues, and yeah, it was just a non-starter, unfortunately. So there you have it, Blood Bowl. Not working, unfortunately. And next up, well, more of the same, actually, unfortunately. We've got Burnout, Paradise, whatever it is, Ultimate Edition or something. Yeah, just black screen, basically. The same, maybe they got the same similar sort of issue to Blood Bowl, I'm not certain. But yeah, there wasn't really any good workarounds on Proton DB, and none of the ones on there actually helped with my issue, despite, you know, trying out Glorious Eggroll and stuff. Honestly, I thought the Glorious Eggroll Proton version would fix this issue, but well, as you're just about to see, it did not. So I'm not really sure what more there is I can do on this one, which is a shame, because I sort of feel as though maybe Burnout should work, but then again, I don't really know enough about it to say otherwise. I'm just surprised, I guess. So next up, we've got Hitman Absolution, which apparently is another game that I own, I wasn't aware of. It actually seems pretty good, to be fair, and I didn't realise how old it is. I guess it really is the precursor to the modern Hitman games. It must have been really cheap at some point. But yeah, this one actually is really good in terms of like solid frame rate, doesn't use a whole lot of watts. You do have to skip past the exclusive benefits.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
But luckily we've got a great benefit in the fact that the game does in fact just work. It runs at around 11 watts. It doesn't really overly stress the GPU and CPU. I mean, you can see the temperatures there, about 50 degrees. When it's really working, you're obviously looking at the low 70s. It just doesn't budge from 60. I know it's an older game, but I still think it looks really good. And plays really well also. So I don't know if this is something that you want to play. I imagine you would have a pretty great experience, to be honest. And why not, actually? You know, all the controllers work out of the box and everything else. So yeah, I don't even think normally when stuff works, I don't even look it up on Proton DB, but I imagine even that will tell you that it works pretty well. I did do quite a few reports this time for various stuff that was or wasn't working. Next game on the list is Dragonbourne. I think this came out last year. It's basically a new school Game Boy Color game. So this one works fine in a sense. I mean, it comes up on the screen, shows up as it would do on a desktop, but you will need to change some of the controls in order to be able to actually select stuff. Otherwise, you won't be getting off the main screen, unfortunately. Or maybe it was 2020. Gosh, where's 2021 gone? But yeah, that gets you in the game, and it runs perfectly fine, as you would expect. And next up, we've got Pandemonium, which is, interestingly, the first game I had for the PlayStation 1. So that's a bit of trivia that will never be useful ever again. So, what can I say about Pandemonium? It works. It needs a custom control scheme. Luckily, there is one on there. Obviously, you've got the bit of the issue there with the video, of course. And while things do work, there is a tendency for controls to get stuck. So, like, you will, if you're running one way, sometimes you'll get stuck running that certain way, very, very occasionally. But it takes it from me being able to say that, yes, this is playable, to actually you're not going to want to play this all the way through, because you're not going to potentially have a good time, especially on a platformer, you know, where sometimes you need to make a few more precise movements. I don't know, it's really disappointing. I was, obviously, because of it being like my first ever PlayStation 1 game, I was hoping it would do really well, but yeah, you play this at your own risk, I would say, and you know, be aware of the issues ahead of time. I'm not very good at platforms anyway, so actually it won't make any difference to me if the controller gets stuck too much. But, you know, to other people, maybe it will, and it's just worth bearing in mind, of course, if this is something that you wanted to play on the deck. So maybe better off emulating it. That might be better. I didn't say that. And moving on, we've got Nex Machina. So I'm going to go through and basically you need to type in these launch options that I've got coming up on the screen now. This is all from ProtonDB, by the way. I can't shout out ProtonDB enough. They've been really invaluable for getting a lot of these games working where I just wouldn't have any clue, if I'm totally honest. So this allows you to get into the game, to play it. The frame rate is, some people have mentioned that the frame rate was a bit low, but you know, it's fine. I didn't make any changes to the game settings or anything like that. I think that the idea was that people feel as though it should be running at 60 FPS to get the proper experience out of it. Having not played this game ever before, and probably never will again, all I can say is that yeah, it seems to run fine. I didn't really understand what I had to do to start off with, so I just ended up dying a lot. But yeah, it seems fine. It does run with that fix, and you should be good to go. The control scheme runs fine. It's got like a directional, depending on what X, Y, ZA button you're pressing, it shoots in various different ways. So yeah, just worth sort of bearing in mind, I guess, if that is something that you want to play. And that was a penultimate game. And last up, we've got one that I did actually on the stream, so I don't really know why I included it, just because I like it that much, is Ninja Blade by FromSoft, actually. Made in 2009, 2010, something like that. Or might be released on PC in 2010.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, upset top there. Oh. Anyway, it all works fine. You can, you do, every time you start it up, though, unfortunately, you do have to go in and set the frame rate to variable, and that'll give you 60 FPS, which is very nice. And the game actually looks pretty good. It's got like the old school QTEs in there, you know, when they were a big thing, which is interesting. Like lots of really cool cutscenes in it. Very much like future Tech Ninja style thing going on. But no, it runs really well. I've been really impressed with it as well, to be fair. I'll leave you with a few minutes of gameplay footage of this if you want to see me die a lot. Probably die a lot. Then you can do, and yeah, I will see you all in the next one. As I alluded to earlier, I think the next one will be another unsupported games list, because that has really been headline to me. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Kid, you okay?
Yeah, for the moment.
Don't let it get away, kid.